Hi, everybody. I'm Scott,
And I'm Luke.
And I'm Jonathan.
and this is the No Way to Hollywood podcast. Thanks for being here.
This is indeed that, and yes.
Mando.
And, yeah. Tonight, we are going back into the world of that one universe story thing, that whatever you want to call it, that we all love
That
so
was
much.
so clear and precise.
Moderate away, buddy. Moderate away.
We're going to journey back into the Star Wars universe because, as you might recall from at least one previous episode or two, that is one of the films that had really brought us all into this world of film that we enjoy and we talk about and hope that you listen to. So, gentlemen, recently, within the last couple of years here, Disney has decided to tell another story in the Star Wars universe in a television series.
That's an accurate statement, yeah.
And I feel like we've all watched all the current episodes to this point.
Yes, I was the slacker who was behind.
So
I have
behind.
a family, okay? I'm sorry.
So we are definitely talking about The Mandalorian. Gentlemen, let's just start off with some initial thoughts. We are now 3 episodes into Season 2, and do you like The Mandalorian?
Yeah, newbie. Do you like The Mandalorian? Wow, that was a question he was not expecting, apparently.
Yes. Okay, but why? So I think that Mandalorian captures a lot of kind of the original trilogy's magic. They've got a lot of the same world elements, and sometimes it might be a little bit fan servicey, but that's part of the joy of it, right? Is oh yeah, there's that stupid trash can droid that they just, they brought him back. Why? Because they could, and so there's some fun stuff with that, going back to some of the same places. Sometimes it feels a little repetitive. There's a lot of desert sand planets in the world, at least, that they keep going back to. And so, you're just kind of in sand a lot, but that's fine, whatever. So coming back to a lot of the original trilogy stuff and kind of ignoring entirely the prequel and the sequel stuff, because we didn't need that.
Well, ignoring all the sequel stuff mostly because it hasn't happened yet in the timeline. And the prequel stuff is actually there's some prequel stuff in there. It's just not the centerpiece or prequel-esque, even if it's being used. It's this is what would be cool about the prequels. Not
yeah,
just,
and I think there's one of the spaceships. There's one that
There's
Anakin
one spaceship,
flew,
you're
and
right.
no, from the prequels.
oh, from the okay.
Yeah, what?
I'm just
Yeah, no. So
Blank.
yeah, there's. I think that's what makes it fun, is that it feels like coming home to the originals, and then just kind of exploring that world. And then another thing that I believe we've talked about, because I don't think I came up with this, but I like it, which is that you're doing Star Wars without all this Jedi stuff. Because there is a whole lot more to the universe of Star Wars than just Jedi. And so getting away from the Skywalker saga and that kind of stuff and just having fun in the world is a lot of good stuff there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Jonathan?
I like The Mandalorian. I've enjoyed it. I've watched that pilot episode 20 times, trying to get other people to watch it.
Luke?
And you, by the way.
That is true.
Anyway, I enjoy the show. I've enjoyed the second season so far. It's been good. I agree that it's a lot of its charm is just getting that sort of tone or essence of Star Wars kind of right, where it's this just feels right. They don't do it right all the time. They don't get it right all the time, but when they get it right, it feels really good. And you're like, yeah, this is good. This is fun. The pilot episode of season 2 with, by the way,
Spoilers out the wazoo, under the wazoo, around the wazoo.
I did not approve the spoilers. I'm sorry, guys.
At the end, everyone dies.
Oh. Well, that's good.
No, it's not good. We got a whole more season to go. We got episodes and episodes. What are we going to do? Everyone's dead. You jerk. No. Anyway, as I was trying to say, the pilot episode of season 2 is they go and like fight a dragon, which by the way got my Dune fix for me for a while. That felt
it's
good.
not a dragon; it's a sandworm dragon.
It's a sandworm dragon
Yeah.
thing.
That ate the Sarlacc.
It's called a crate dragon, and it ate the Sarlacc pit. The pit was over whatever's underneath that pit. It's dead now. It's been eaten.
The Sarlacc.
The Sarlacc.
It's been eaten. Anyway, the crate dragon episode. There are just these moments where, I mean, it's the West. Star Wars is a Western, a samurai film, and a medieval fantasy film,
As well as a World War II bomber.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you get into space, then it becomes World War II again. Yeah. There's all those. It's really fun, and Mandalorian actually takes time to get all those elements. And unlike a lot of Star Wars content we've seen recently, which is potentially missing at least one, if not all, the elements of what we know to Star Wars to be,
Midichlorians.
Yeah.
That's we know that is like core.
Or fuel. Like the reason that we bring that up is because Mandalorian references fuel, but how do I say it? Having a fuel problem and trying to solve your fuel problem, that's a Star Trek episode.
Mm-hmm.
Having something broken on your ship and it makes you not be able to run away from the bad guys, that's Star Wars. It's a totally I need the hypo spanner. That's Han Solo trying to fix the hyperdrive. Bunch of stuff we don't understand. He's trying to fix it so we can get away from the bad guys. Unlike a certain film where I again love and hate half of it, where we're running low on fuel. We have to solve our fuel problem and outsmart them. And it doesn't overdo it, but you're like, why are we thinking about fuel concerns? This is not Star Wars. Mandalorian doesn't do that very much. Mandalorian is far more on the Tusken, the Tusken Raiders section.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking the Tusken Raiders. That's the other thing that was sort of modernized for sensibilities of the modern audiences, where we're going to talk to them and not just call them savages and then be like, those guys suck and we got to kill them. Instead, we're going to have a conversation with them, and they're people, and we got to help them defeat this crate dragon thing that's been destroying everything. By the way, I had a moment where I was watching that crate dragon episode where they show that this thing just eats whatever it wants, and they're like, we're gonna feed this bantha to it, and the guy gets eaten instead of the bantha. I think that was the moment where I was like, so you put some bombs on the bantha, and you're good. And then it didn't happen. They're like, we're gonna go get some bombs. Like, oh, they're gonna get bombs. They're gonna put them on the bantha and then feed it, and that'd be simple. And they're like, no, we gotta take a trench underneath it and then blow it because it's belly. I'm like, why don't we just put it on bantha and then give it to? And then lo and behold, there was that bantha that apparently no one unloaded the explosives off of during the fight and was like, that guy, we gotta use that bantha. Sorry, I would get a little. I'm trying to say I enjoy The Mandalorian. I had fun with the fact that it's got the samurai feeling to it. It's got the Western vibes. It's got the medieval fantasy thing going on. And yes, the World War II elements of there's the Empire, these Nazis who are out there. But now it's the Nazis all fleeing, right? Like now it's the Nazis trying to get out of Dodge or change their tactics or whatnot. So I enjoy The Mandalorian.
Good. I also enjoy The Mandalorian, even though it uses some tips and tricks that I really dislike. For instance, I do not believe that flashbacks belong in Star Wars. I don't need to drop my mic because it's true. However, The Mandalorian does use this in both Seasons 1 and Seasons 2, but they do it in such a way where it usually comes in and out of someone telling the story. So in your original trilogy for Star Wars, you literally had them just telling the story as they go. I mean, the one, hey, we're going to tell you what's already happened moment in Episode 6. You have C-3PO talking to the Ewoks and telling them what's going on, right? So it's a storytelling element.
But we knew about all of that already. We had seen those movies.
So the flashback that you get in Mandalorian is informative, but it's almost always done in a storytelling, here's what happened in the past kind of a way.
Yeah. Sorry, is that good or bad for you?
I think in terms of them using it, they did it about as good as they could have done it, right? It wasn't just oh, hey, now we're going to flash back and show you something else. It's no, I'm one character telling you this other character the story, So
And now you are using your imagination
to see what's going on, right? Yeah. So I did appreciate that. One of the other things I absolutely love about The Mandalorian is it feels like, depending on what episode you jump into, you're kind of exploring the tropes of different genres. So, I mean, we all know Star Wars to be this samurai Western film, and there are certainly elements that are stronger in certain episodes of one or two of those things. You also get a heist episode, which honestly is probably one of my favorite episodes from season one, oddly enough. And comparatively, it got reasonably high ratings. Obviously, it's not like the part of the real main storyline of season one. So you do have moments where you jump out of the storyline as well, and then the big storyline, but you come back into it. Still all tied together, obviously. So there's a lot of fun things that I think they do that really do make it more of an exploration of the universe rather than just hey, here's this character's story for what it is.
Anyone else feel like Mandalorian's a video game?
Not the way that episode 2 in the prequels was. The prequels was like, this is a 90s video game that we're working through right now. So now we're in the train dodge the stuff section, and now we're in the arena fight the things, and now we're in the forest section where like that movie was video game, like it was bad video game.
But Mandalorian, every episode is like, you've got literally now in season 2, I have been quested to. it's like any RPG. Excuse me. I have been quested to deliver child to place, and NPC goes, well, I can maybe help you on a step of that journey if you go on my side mission and help me get this. I'll give you a couple gold, and you're like, I accept your side quest to get me to my main quest. I mean, I enjoy it thoroughly, but every episode is like a video game setup, and it just makes me. It makes me a little tickled because I think it works, and people who don't play video games, I don't know how much they recognize that or not, but as someone who plays video games and RPGs, it is just straight. It's just straight video game cycle every episode.
I mean, you're not like carrying chickens on your head yet,
If we get there, that's like season 20, and we've lost all hope.
Yeah,
there is no more hope.
But
help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's no more hope.
Everyone's dead now.
So I mean, yes, you're right, but it's because of the nature of this being an episode, and he can't just like get there, like it's.
Well, I mean, we have to remember that they are choosing to do it episodically, and they are choosing to do it episodically by week release, right? But even Game of Thrones, was a weekly release. I mean, TV now is streaming. It's not TV. It's streaming. And streaming has changed all the rules. And you can do 8-10 hour long movies. You can do, books that are across, multiple seasons. And that's kind of what, they even set it up that way. Chapter 1. Now we're on chapter 11, not chapter 2 of season 2. We are on chapter 11, 12 of this story. And I enjoy that. But it's just interesting to me that they choose a very episodic nature to their show.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear that, execs over at Disney, you're doing modern TV wrong. And there's several articles on that topic that you can look up on the internet. It's like this new cool thing that like you can like watch things on it. It's pretty neato. Look into that.
Honestly, I'm okay with the way you're doing TV right now. It's all the other Star Wars things you've done that really concern me, because you done messed up. Okay, you done messed up.
AA Ron.
AA.
All right. Let's get
EI's knee.
Let's get into some of particular. I mean, we've talked a little bit about chapter 9, I guess it is. But let's go back to chapter 1, guys. And I just want to hear your thoughts when the reveal happened at the end of the episode. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Baby Yoda. That's all you need to know.
Also known as the child. They are trying really hard this season to make us all think it's called the child. It's really Baby Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Okay, so for me, I was of course late to the party.
So late.
Because I'm always late to the party. And so I had already seen my Facebook feed with like Baby Yoda and like Mandalorian, the Yoda, Baby Yoda show, like all those kinds of things. And I also personally have a very I have an issue with feeling like people are trying to manipulate me. And so when it's like, this is this cute thing you should really like, I'm like, screw you. I don't like it. However, the puppetry is good. So like that's good, I guess. And there's some fun stuff. But Baby Yoda does not annoy me as much as other characters who I'm supposed to fall in love with, and they just really annoy me. Steins Gate. But in this case, I don't have this strong affinity. Like I can be like I can see why characters are like okay, but like I do not have this like when like the reveal did nothing. The stuff it just I don't care. So
it was ruined for Luke.
Ruined.
When I first saw it, I did not know Baby Yoda was a thing. I was in early enough, and I watched it, and they're like, "It's a little Yoda." I was like, "It's a little Yoda, huh? It's a 50-year-old little Yoda." And they're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay, all right." Yeah, it was a good switch up. I enjoyed that, and of course, where that goes, and the whole Cutesville with Baby Yoda. Sure, especially this season, you like everyone knows that everyone thinks Baby Yoda's the greatest. So how far are you going to push it? How many times can you use similar gags?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, at the same time, it works. And here's why I think it works: because Baby Yoda is a fish out of water character, and so anything you don't understand and Baby Yoda reacts to is you. If you don't understand something going on and you react to it the same way. You and Yoda, little baby Yoda, the child, we're all in this together. And so I think you get an affinity for that character because that character is essentially doing the fish out of water business in a very cute way, expressing your emotions, or like the season 2 premiere where we're in a box, not boxing. It's basically a boxing arena, but they're using axes. It's a fight arena. And they're talking to the guy, and things start getting hairy, right? Things start getting like, oh man, people are gonna get shot. And Baby Yoda sees that the Mandalorian opens up his like super awesome, I'll kill everybody in one shot thing, and he's like, okay. He just presses the button, and the shield drops, right? And that's great because you're feeling that way. You know what's coming. Baby Yoda knows, and so you have an affinity. Like that's what I mean. Whether it's you don't understand something and you're curious about it, which Baby Yoda does, or if it's like, oh, I know what that is, and you know, seeing that. It plays, I think, best because it's essentially a fish out of water character that you are aligned with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Jonathan. And I mean, the Baby Yoda moment reveal for me was like one of those, oh, snap moments. Like, yeah, buddy, I'm ready for this. But at the same time, I think my disappointment in the way that they did that really is this almost feels more like the Baby Yoda show than it does the Mandalorian, right? And I guess Baby Yoda is young enough and interacts as little as possible, but at the same time, he's a character that draws attention in every episode. So how this is all going to... I'm curious to see how it's all going to play out in the end. I mean, they're trying to make us think right now that, you know, the end of season 2 could be the end of Baby Yoda. We'll see. I have strong doubts that's actually going to happen.
It's not going to be the end of Baby Yoda. The question is, will we actually know will we know more information, right? And even if we got to the place where Baby Yoda is supposed to be left, it's not going to happen that way. Something's going to happen that forces them to still be together. The other thing is when they first announced the show, and I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get it now in episode 3 of season 2. I'm starting to get what I was hoping for from the beginning, which is the Mandalorians in Star Wars. This is sort of lore, like deeper lore stuff. The Mandalorians in Star Wars are sort of these, like a feudal society to some extent. Like they are this society that has a king or queen, and they're tribes, and they've been used and abused, but they're really powerful. And so it's kind of like, can you unite them? And can they get a king? Can they restore their home world? And that was all set up in episode 3, right? It was all like, yeah, you're a different sect of the Mandalorians. I'm this awesome person, the Mandalorians, and this idea of king, queen. I gotta go get this sword, this dark saber. I gotta go get this lightsaber. It's just for us, so I can become queen of Mandalore. Like that's the kind of stuff where the geek, middle of fantasy guy, means like, yeah, let's go get the sword. This is gonna be awesome. And so I think we're going to have some of that too, right? Where I think there's plenty for the Mandalorian to do beyond just character development and his care and quest with Baby Yoda. I do think it is still the Mandalorian's show. I understand he's the caretaker and that Baby Yoda is sort of the star of the thing, but I do think of it as a twofer, right? Like it is both characters matter a lot. And I think they're both going to have really important parts to play, not just with each other, but in the grander scheme of Star Wars. So I think that the Mandalorian. Okay, and now just a little prediction time.
Can we come back to that later?
Oh, God, fine.
Okay, because the next question I do want to ask is there are a number of side characters that you get in bits and pieces throughout season 1, and I'm assuming now season 2 based on what we've seen 3 episodes in at this point. What is your favorite side character in The Mandalorian?
Refresh my memory on who some of the. I just watched all this. Who are some of the side characters?
So on Tatooine, you have the Ugnaught, who.
That's not Tatooine, but yeah, like the Ugnaught, the guy who dies at the end of season.
Yeah, he was
I
on
have
the other
spoken.
planet.
Yeah,
I have spoken.
I have spoken guy. You've
I've
got.
died. Spoilers.
I have died. Yeah.
You have the IG-88 droid.
That'd be a great tombstone, just like from this state to this date. I have spoken. I have spoken. I live this long.
Yeah. Okay. The IG. Yep.
You've got
IG-88, who's dead now.
Droid, yep,
the Rebel Trooper.
You've got his buddy, played by is it Carl Weathers, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You know, he's like some of my favorite people were.
Do the hand thing. Hi. He's like, oh man.
Yeah. Okay.
You've got
the
Gina Carano,
the
trooper.
the
who's
shock trooper.
the former Rebel Alliance trooper.
Shock trooper. Yeah.
You've got
the lady.
you've got Bill Burr being Bill Burr but with laser guns. He's in the heist episode. He's the bald guy who's got the little pistols that come out on
yeah. Who cares?
It was the heist guys.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to come back at some point.
Yeah, because they're in prison. Yeah, this is spoilers. And then you've got the motherly droid fixer upper,
the
lady.
mechanic on
Yeah,
Tatooine.
Yeah, who she
Yep.
fixes things and gives him grief.
You've got the villain guy who we've only seen for a couple episodes, but
Yeah.
he's apparently bad news to everybody.
Yeah, well, he's playing the exact same character they does in The Boys. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you've got like the main like blacksmith lady Mandalorian.
Right.
You got her.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a number of side characters. If you guys could pick one as your favorite, which one would you pick?
I would probably go with Shock Trooper. Just
She's
because
cool.
just
She's
because
cool.
not only is she cool, but she's also like she's a really good foil for the Mandalorian because they're kind of on the same plane but different. You know, like they can bounce off of each other while still sticking to their guns and being this being awesome together, but in different ways. So I like that interplay, especially whenever they do stuff together, right? Yeah. Although the heist guy with his like, I thought you were supposed to be somebody awesome, and you ran away, and then no, never mind, you're pretty awesome. That was pretty good,
Yeah.
but not because he's a good character, because that was a good moment. So I'll go with Shock Trooper.
I think Shock Trooper is probably the right choice if you have to choose a character that's still alive and can do things and come back.
That is a good point.
There's not.
Because my other two favorites are both dead.
Well, I liked the Ugnaught guy. I liked I Have Spoken dude. I enjoyed him. I used my hands and worked my dad off and want to go live my own life. I was like, okay, I get it. Okay, cool, dude. He played the right. He was totally that Western, farmer guy who's been in the real world and ends up dying to help somebody else. Like it's that character
trope.
type. It's that trope, and I enjoyed that character. Oh, you know what? It's the Marshal probably now. If I have to choose someone besides the Shock Trooper,
Ooh.
who's a
We're
psychic.
now talking season 2 for those of you who are unaware.
We're not talking season 2.
We are.
We are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like the
Spoilers.
Marshal. The Marshal is a fun character. So
Yeah, and the Marshal grew on me.
Mhm.
Like I started out, I was like, eh, and then the longer we went, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys covered it pretty well. Season 2 is I hope the Marshal comes back. I really do.
I'm sure he will.
I did, like I said, if I couldn't pick the Shock Trooper, who I'm expecting to come back, picking.
Well, she already came back once. We already went back for her.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's. I mean, all the previews show her coming back again, which
Right. So I fully expect her to come back because she's already come back once. You're not going to like,
Right.
oh, this character we brought back again. You know.
Right. So yeah, I mean, and then I was a little partial to the IG-88 droid and just who he was initially, and then getting reprogrammed by the Ugnaught to become who he became. And I mean, honestly, he's the character that sacrifices in the end of season 1. So, yeah, I mean that was a really powerfully good moment, I thought, in season 1. All right, guys.
And Pop Culture Detective has a thing about that. So if you haven't watched his thing on droids,
there it is. What is the one payoff that you are still most waiting to see?
Okay, so a plant and payoff. So
A
like
plant and a payoff. And I still think there's stuff from season 1 that they're going to pay off in season 2. So you can think about that.
So Scott, what's the one plant and payoff that you're most excited to see?
yeah.
In chapter 9, or the first episode of season 2, there is a moment at the very end of the episode after he's taken the Mandalorian armor from the Marshal,
where it's
the
Boba
sphere.
Fett.
where we're assuming it's Boba Fett.
But do you think it's a clone? It's just a different clone.
Well, it's a character.
Wait,
They clearly show us this person.
we see the person. I only saw the armor. Wait, hang on.
Okay. At the very end of the episode of season 1,
Oh, the person who's standing there, and you don't know who it is.
and he
Right.
turns around,
But he's got the gun, and he's got the okay.
He's bald
He's
head.
the actor that they used for the prequels for the clones, like all the clones. Okay, prequel
Okay,
lore,
yeah,
prequel
okay.
lore.
Uh-huh.
All the clones in the
Right.
Clone Wars are based off of Jango Fett's DNA,
yeah,
and he gets
right.
himself one for himself, and that's a
Uh-huh.
young Boba Fett. And then Boba Fett is going to it goes through that process. Jango gets killed. He gets upset about that, but we never see him again until Empire Strikes Back.
So he's a boy, and,
Yes.
and his dad dies, and he's sad.
and he's sad.
He's sad.
Let's see. I'll probably link to that, but a language warning on that.
But anyway, that's the actor. The actor who did all
Oh,
the
that's
clone
the
stuff.
actor.
The actor did all the clone stuff and the Jango Fett stuff in the prequels. So the
Okay.
implication is that's one of the clones. So is it Boba?
Oh, okay.
Well, you don't know.
We don't know Boba.
How many cares do I have?
So my favorite payoff means absolutely nothing to Luke.
Yeah, nothing. I thought you were gonna be like, "What's that sphere all about? Was that the one that the Gungans carried when they glowed?" And they were like, "Whatever." Okay.
I don't
Sorry.
know. I don't know if I have a plan.
Issues.
Oh yeah, you do. Plant and payoff. I don't know. I feel like they've been doing a pretty good job on getting me what I need from them. Like they've been using the jetpack plenty, and they've been using all of his toys and stuff. I'm trying to think of an actual long plant and payoff. I mean, they've even paid off his droid problem, right? Like he's already done a lot of those things.
Well,
It's still
yeah.
there, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, Baby Yoda. Like, what's up with Baby Yoda? Where's Baby Yoda going? What's that all about? And I heard one theory about that I'm very curious about, which is in Rogue One, that movie, you had these two characters who were both Asian dudes who were like, we're the guardian, or really, it's the one guy's like, I'm one of the guardians of the Wills. And the other character's like, I just take care of this guy who's the guardian of the Wills. And they were very force sensitive, right? In the whole thing. Like, so there's this theory that we don't know what Wills look like. We don't know what Baby Yoda's. We don't know what Yoda's race is. We've never known what their race is. That's part of the mystery here. And there's only been a few of these Yoda species that we've seen. Yoda and Yaddle, which Yaddle is just like in a shot in one of the prequels, a female version of Yoda, because Lucas was like, I think we should put him in a female one.
Yeah, that was a bad idea, Lucas.
Anyway, so now,
Do you like ice cream?
why don't I give you some rock salt? So I have heard a theory that maybe Baby Yoda is actually of a race called the Wills. And so the Mandalorian is in essence a guardian of the Wills. And in the Rogue One story, the Asian dude who had the staff like had a red thing going on with his outfit. And I've heard that, I think I remember that being this way in the flashbacks when he sees his family and everybody being killed, that all of them have like red clothing. And so there's a theory that the Mandalorians, like his actual heritage, his full heritage is that he is a guardian of the wills, and he never grew into it, never knew what it was, and yet the Force brings him back to an actual will, and he protects that will to get it back to where it needs to go, right? Like, and so I think that's a really cool idea. I'd love to see that pay off.
Okay.
So that's a theory. Sorry for anybody who's like, well, that's really good. And if it ends up being true, I'm like, well, you ruined it for me. Oh, I'm sorry, but I think that could be really cool.
Spoilers for something that hasn't happened yet.
Maybe. I also want to see him get the sword and rule Mandalore.
That would be cool too. Luke, you clearly don't have any plants that you're excited about, Art, do you? All right, well, let's move on then.
Not a green thumb.
We are moving into our predictions for at least the next 5 episodes of Season 2.
I predict there will be a new element that is the big element on a planet that they go to. So maybe water and ice and sand. Maybe this time we'll get an air planet.
You mean like Cloud City?
Yeah, like that.
They already had a Cloud City episode when the heist. It's the clouds.
He's not in the clouds.
At the prison?
It's not in the clouds, but it's the same spaceship as Cloud City.
But it's not in the clouds. My whole thing's about air and clouds.
Well, good for you. Thank you for that. Awesome. Are we going to talk about peeves? Or are we just going to do predictions? Because I have 0 predictions. I don't really care. I'm having a fine time watching it. It's a good ride.
Well, Luke,
so I'll keep going.
In place of giving us your predictions, Jonathan and I will do that in a moment. Can you tell us all your pet peeves?
All of them? No, there's too many of them. But
wow,
one of them that just killed me for this whole thing was that we have like this whole thing like we don't take off our helmet in front of other people. Yeah. We don't take off our helmet in front of other people. And then they've got like the one shot in season 1 where like he takes off his helmet but it's from the back, so like you see like you're like, okay, he does actually take off his helmet to eat. We just don't see it because we're people who can't see it. And then they're like, "Hey, you're injured. Let's take off your helmet." And he's like, "No, I wouldn't do that. I'm Batman." And then he's like, "No, but really, I've got to do it because I'm a droid and I can do it." He's like, "But I'm also Spider-Man, so you can't see my identity." And then he's like, "Okay, fine, you can take off my helmet." So he takes off the helmet, the droid. And then it cuts to his face. And you should not have done that. That was wrong. That was bad filmmaking. Naughty filmmakers. Not good. Okay, so
Sorry,
what you should have done is you should have like gone over the shoulder, like we should have seen his hair, we could have seen the blood, we could have even still had the back to spray, and you could have been like, "This is back to spray." Like you could have done everything that you did in that sequence, and we didn't need to see his face. Because by doing that, you then ruin, and this is partly because I was so far behind, I just like rolled from that episode in the next episode, when like the marshal takes off his helmet, and you're like, "Duh!" But you're like, "Never mind, I already saw that happen the episode before, so like this doesn't matter at all, I don't care." And then the next episode or 2 episodes later when they're like, "Hey, we're Mandalorians," and you're like, "Yeah, I already saw this twice, like leave me alone with this helmet taking off thing." So that is a huge peeve for me. You ruined it. You ruined my show. Okay.
Just wait until they pay that one off, Luke.
It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna survive. I actually like the hey, by the way, you're part of this wacko group that thinks that you should keep your helmets on. I don't know what that's about. So there's some good stuff that they're building toward, but like, don't show his face. Maybe that's my one plant and payoff that I'm looking forward to is like what's actually happening with this helmet thing.
Okay.
Like let's actually get there. Let's work through that. And I like the working through it. I dislike the we're gonna show you your face. Okay. So
do you think we're gonna get there this season?
I have no idea. I'm not gonna predict that one. But there you go. Good try.
I was so close.
I know you were so close. So that was a peeve. There have been a few others, but far less annoying than that one. That one just you killed it.
I'm sorry about that. Jonathan, you would like to make predictions now?
I will just say I tend to agree. Maybe not nearly as vehemently passionate about it as you are, but yeah, I mean I agree. It was a bad choice because it spoils it. It basically makes it so that we don't have that same connection, that same problem. It doesn't connect me any closer to him, actually. It makes me say, like, why should I? It's too early for this. That should happen at the end of the show. Anyway, so I agree with that. I think I already gave my big prediction. I will give one of my peeves Okay, you ready for my peeve? One of my peeves is that they keep on making fun of stormtroopers. Stormtroopers are completely ineffective. And I understand that it's a running joke, especially for fans, that after A New Hope, and really in A New Hope, that they haven't been able to hit the broadside of a barn. There's been so many times they've been shooting and they never hit anybody. And I know that's a thing and it's like a joke. And they make a...
You want to see the world's safest motorbike? It looks like a stormtrooper. It never hits anything. So good.
If you've seen the Auralnauts Existential Crisis one with the stormtroopers, it's amazing. You have to be ready to go through an 11-minute discussion, but it's kind of hilarious if you like that. Anyway, they make jokes about stormtroopers in this show, right? Taika Waititi, which I'm sorry, Taika Waititi is not my favorite filmmaker in the world, unlike everybody else in the world who apparently loves him. And he did a great job in the last episode, but his whole I gotta make a joke about stormtroopers, right? We're gonna have this 2 stormtroopers on speeder bikes talking about stuff, and then they try to shoot the can. Now, I laughed out loud. Don't get me wrong. It was funny. It's just that it's also like in Star Wars A New Hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker come across a sandcrawler, and the whole thing is like, this is devastating, and all these people are dead, and
Precise
strike points, and it's overwhelming force, and it's dangerous. It's stormtroopers. That's, they're supposed, and they go into a rebel ship and they just wipe everybody. They murder everyone. Stormtroopers were supposed to be like the Nazis, scary, dangerous, problematic. And I understand that by the end of the Return of the Jedi, they were getting killed by teddy bears, which is why people don't like the teddy bears. They don't like the Ewoks. It's not because Ewoks are bad. It's because teddy bears somehow use sticks to beat guys in armor that's supposed to deal with blaster fire. So I understand there's issues already there from the original trilogy. And I understand it doesn't get any better in the prequel or sequel trilogy, right? But you get in The Mandalorian where you have an opportunity for like a lot of things to sort of retcon it and sort of make it a bit more what it's supposed to be. And instead you go the opposite direction. You say it's so known that they're bad that instead of making them good, I'm just going to make fun of them. And they don't only do it at the end of season 1, they do it in season 2 as well, where it's like, oh, ha, ha, but they could hit a barn outside of a barn. Now, a Mandalorian saying that's one thing because they maybe they're just like, we're better than you. That's one thing. But it's 2 times now they've made very specific jokes about how stormtroopers can't do crap. And that makes your bad guys not nearly as scary or tense to deal with.
Right.
And
what I did not like when they're on the ship and they're trying to storm the bridge. I did not like them making fun of it there. That was stupid, and it destroyed the tension. It made it dumb. There was so much of that episode that was just like, we're just mowing down stormtroopers, and I was like, why? What's the point of all this?
That's part of what makes it feel like a video game.
Right. That was bad. So that was not good. I actually really liked the shooting, the trying to shoot the thing, but that's because for me, it wasn't that all stormtroopers are this way. It was like these 2 guys who are like out on speeder bikes in the middle of nowhere because no one wants to work with these guys. Like their job is to like stand in front of the door at the front of the thing and just like wait and then like go out and get it. So like it had a very red versus blue, like 2 guys who are just buddies and are bad at what they do.
It's a great comedy bit. It has no place in that show.
That's fine.
That's my issue. And it is in the show, and it is funny. It does play. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you don't like flashbacks? Keep all your flashbacks. Get rid of this bullcrap.
Well, and that's where I completely agree. I'm okay with doing it once for like a couple of characters and just making that a funny thing. But like from then on, like every other stormtrooper should like be like the scariest thing in the world, and it shouldn't be like they've got this repeater gun that is probably going to hurt people. I'm like, no, they've got like 1 million stormtroopers out there who are going to kick your butt. And they even have some of those lines of like, there were supposed to be 4 and this is not 4. What are we going to do? Like, I want to see that stake happen more, and not just like, hey, you got hit in the shoulder on your armor so you're fine. Like, I want to see stakes.
I want to try to sum this up with one more statement, which is I don't want Marvel's brand of humor in my Star Wars. Star Wars has its own brand of humor. Do that. I don't need Marvel brand. I don't need your bathos. I don't need your whole like let's undercut the situation and be cynical about what this whole thing is. I don't need that from you. Just do good Star Wars humor. Leave the Marvel crap to Marvel.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for sharing your pet peeves a little passionately there. Don't think you have any real thoughts about that at all.
But the child's a will, and he's a guardian of the will. That's my prediction.
We'll see. I mean, I'm going to predict that they do not make it to Ahsoka Tano this season. And if
the entire season, huh?
And if they do, she's gonna be at a point where she's no longer a Jedi and doesn't want the baby.
Oh, she's gonna pull a Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan, like.
I mean,
Every
that
Je-
is
She's gonna do what
Yoda-
all Jedis do. They
That
go off
is
in the middle of
part-
nowhere and they don't
that
do
is
nothing.
part of
It's
her
so
character.
hard dealing with the Empire.
If you know the lore of her character, you know that she gets to
I
a
don't.
point where she is not a Jedi anymore.
I don't either.
I need to watch, like, I
But
need.
what is her midichlorian count? Can you reduce your midichlorian count? Like if you change your diet, does it?
She went vegan. She's got more midichlorians now.
I'd explain it to you, but
That's true.
I would understand. You can fly.
You guys are just off it tonight. My goodness.
And it's a long one too.
Yes. So that's one prediction I've got for you. I do think that the big payoff at the end is going to be all related to Mandalore, the planet, and the future of what that looks like.
Okay, minor one. Speaking of Mandalore, it's like, hey, child of ours, we must put you in this little cellar, and then so that you can hide, and then we're gonna turn around and get vaporized, and then 10 seconds later you're gonna get rescued. So if we had just like gone down in there, we could have waited 10 seconds, and then we would have all been rescued.
But no one knew that was going to happen. Anyway, what Mandalore? I got another prediction. I
Yeah?
bet you the Mythosaur shows up.
The Mythosaur?
The big freaking like icon of the Mandalorians.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to happen in season 2, but at some point, that like dinosaur Mythosaur thing they talk about, and like even the Ugnaught guy was like, "Didn't your ancestors ride the Mythosaur?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll ride your stupid little 2-foot cow thing." I wonder if eventually he has to ride the Mythosaur, right? Give him a Darksaber, put him on a Mythosaur, and he goes and he's like, "I'm gonna kick some ass. I'm gonna get some stuff done.
This is the way.
This is the way." He points with the Darksaber. That way's the way. This is the way.
I should have been wearing my Think Geek T-shirt with like the laser
Yes,
eye
yes,
cast.
that would have been
I'm
appropriate.
sorry, everyone.
Yes, apologies.
I am a little bit afraid that they are going to turn the Mandalorians into something too similar to the Jedi with this dark saber.
There's well, I don't think so. Although apparently in lore, the Mandalorians are the only ones who like went toe to toe with the Jedi's and did not have Force abilities or lightsabers.
Or did they?
They had the Darksaber. Apparently, I don't know. Lore dump. I don't even know. I know enough to be wrong.
All right, gentlemen, let's wrap up tonight by giving a suggestion for our viewers to watch one episode from either season 1 or season 2 to this point. What one episode would you recommend they watch?
I should have brushed up on what the episodes were.
Didn't you just watch them?
Yes.
Isn't that generally what you do to brush up?
No. No, I should have gotten a summary of.
Man, which episode? Like, so I'm kind of just like trying to choose a favorite episode, huh?
Yeah.
It's a little risky to choose the newest episode because it's fresh. It hasn't stood any time. This show's young anyway. Let alone this newest episode's just been out for a week.
And which one's the newest one? That's
It's the one where it's the heist, like the
Yeah,
four
the-
Mandalorians go
yeah.
on the ship and deal with the Empire.
okay.
and
I didn't like that one very much.
I enjoyed it.
It had pretty good ratings.
I enjoyed it. But if I didn't choose that one, if I had to choose a season 1 episode,
You can choose that one if you want.
I do like that heist episode. It's a really good episode. But if I
Which
can't
one's
choose
the
that because
heist
you want to choose
episode?
that one, the heist one where it's. So this is Star Wars, and in Star Wars, there's this Mandalorian guy, and the Mandalorian guy, he has some friends from back in the day who are thieves, and he needs to make some money and get some fuel, and so he goes and works with them. And there's like a guy who looks like Satan, and then there's a girl who's a Twi'lek, and she's all she's nuts.
This is from episode. This is
season
season
one.
one.
Season 1.
Season 1,
This
Prison
is
Break.
still in season 1.
There's only been
Okay,
3
sorry.
episodes of season 2.
Right. No, this is all blurring together for me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the Prison Break thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Prison
I
Break
know
thing.
that episode then.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good episode, which I think Scott wants to say.
Maybe.
Maybe the one where the Mandalorian decides to go back and get Yoda. Like, or to go back and get Baby Yoda, the child, where he gets his new armor, and he's like, okay.
Is that episode 2, or does that happen in 1?
3?
3?
2?
They find Baby Yoda in episode 1.
Yeah. Then he's got to get back. No, 2 is the Jaw. I love the Jawas episode.
That is 2.
That
is
Jawas
so
episode
it
makes
is
me laugh, man.
3.
There's just this little Jawas disintegrating his ship, and he's like, "I'm gonna disintegrate you, motherfucker." He's just shooting him, and it's like it's awesome. It's great. I don't know. I like a lot of them. I gave you like 3, so.
Luke.
I don't know. I don't remember them well enough, mostly because they're all blurring together, and I can't even remember what happened. But I think I like the episode.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, where like
It's where
The
they
Magnificent
where you
Seven.
first
Yeah,
where you
right.
first meet the shock trooper.
right. Yeah, so like there's a lot of good stuff there. You've got a lot of things going on, and then like there's like the what if romance kind of thing going on. You've got a lot of things, but then there's also just like we've got to be clever. We've got to work together, and I think there's a lot of good stuff there.
I'll tell you an episode not to do. It's no one's favorite, which is episode 2 of season 2, where it's like we crash land on an ice planet, and then there's an ice monster, and then we get saved, and then we leave.
We kind of get saved.
We kind of get saved, but we don't. There's no Jesus here, so we can't get saved.
Yep. Yeah, I would definitely recommend the Prison Break / heist episode.
It's a good episode.
But the one episode that neither of you have said to this point is the first episode of season 2.
It's a good episode.
With the dragon. It's a delightful episode. It's fun. You've got a complete story arc, and like I said, I mean, one of us is looking forward to seeing the Marshal come back. So I'm curious if that happens.
And the other one is really interested in Boba Fett.
Possibly Boba Fett. Possibly the person whose armor he has. We don't know. Well, we're looking forward to watching a new episode tomorrow or today when you're watching this.
Yeah, we are already at
And
a
then
date. as we watch
every
this.
Friday from then on for the next 4 Fridays after that. And then season 3 sometime in 2022. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you again next time. 21?
21. This is 2020 still.
Oh.
So if it comes out next year,
2021.
It's been a long time. This is May the 4th be with you. I've
long,
spoken.
long time ago, in a galaxy far away, Naboo was under an attack.
Dear Lord.
Link below.
Dear Lord. Goodbye. Just goodbye. Goodbye.
Dun, 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 dun.
Goodbye. Leave now.
Da-da-da,
Don't stick around.
da-da-da-da,
Leave.
da-da-da-da,
Go away.
da-da-da-da.
Okay, and now
Copyright
now Disney's coming in and
infringement.
being
Copyright
like, yeah.
infringement. Copyright infringement. They sue us, but we only have 11 views, and it really doesn't matter. But we will. All right, we're done.
I think I was done.
I hope so.
Okay. All right. Bye bye now. You're not gonna keep my copyright infringement song?